What's up everyone? Hi, I am Jaspreet Arora and I teach you how you can score well in your IELTS examination. So today we have this very interesting topic here. We will discuss about hobbies. So I will tell you that how you have to give the answer to what are your hobbies when the examiner asks you this question. So I will tell you that what you have to include in the answer so that your answer becomes perfect and specific. So let's begin with this video. So let's see that what exactly are hobbies. How do we define a hobby? So a hobby is something that you do for fun in your free time and something that actually relaxes your mind and something that gives you pleasure. So something that we do in the free time. So whenever you have this free time, what do you love to do? Do you love watching movies, or do you love writing? Do you love hiking? Do you love traveling? All these are hobbies. So this is what the definition of a hobby is. So when the examiner asks for your hobby, so you make sure that whatever you are telling to the examiner is exactly true. So if your hobby is watching movies, or if your hobby is hiking, so you tell this thing to the examiner. You do not copy any hobby. So if you are copying hobbies like my hobby is photography, or I like trekking, even if you don't do photography, even if you do not do the trekking, then of course you will get stuck when the examiner asks a different question on the same hobby. So you make sure that whenever you are telling the examiner about your hobby, that has to be true. So I will tell you that how you have to define that hobby to the examiner. So the first thing that you have to do before actually telling about your hobby is to ask 4 simple questions from yourself. What is the hobby? When did it become the hobby? Which is exactly the hobby? And why is that a hobby? You just need these 4 questions and I'm 100% sure that you will perfectly describe what your hobby is. So I'll move towards more details here a little bit and I'll tell you that what exactly you have to ask yourself before telling about the hobby. So let's say that your hobby is photography. Considering that your hobby is photography, so when you ask yourself that what is my hobby? So the answer is photography, that photography is my hobby. When did it become my hobby? So again, you have to think about that when did photography become your hobby? Did that become your hobby when you bought a new DSLR for yourself, or your cousin had this DSLR and you start taking the pictures and you love them? So you have to think about the hobby. You have to think that when did it become the hobby? If your hobby is hiking, so you can perhaps say that when you first went to a hike, then you start liking that, and then you kept on going towards more and more hikes. So you have to understand that when it became your hobby. The third thing is that which. So photography in itself is a hobby, I understand, but what kind of photography? Which photography? Is it wildlife photography, or is it macro photography? You have to describe which photography do you like the most. So if you're telling that your hobby is watching movies, so you can say that I love watching movies, but specifically I love watching horror movies, or I love comedy movies. So this is a specific term that you have to use while describing your hobby. I understand whenever you are saying that I love listening to music, that is a hobby, but going towards more details are always good. Going towards a little more elaboration is always good. And that answer you get by asking yourself which question you have to ask, right? So whenever you are thinking about a hobby, think for a particular type of hobby. So even let's take one more example here. If your hobby is traveling, so you have to think that which kind of traveling. Are you a trekker? Do you like trekking? Do you like riding motorcycles, or do you like solo travel? So these all are the sub points of that. These all are the which points of the hobby, right? So you have to make sure that you consider which as well. And the last is that why is that your hobby? Why do you like traveling? Why do you love photography? Why do you love keeping the stamps? So all these, by combining all this, you will get to know that what exactly is your hobby. And when you combine all these what, when, which and why, I am 100% sure that the answer will come to be a perfect answer. A little recommendation more here as well, that whenever you are telling about a hobby, you can include your personal experiences with that hobby as well. So let's say that your hobby is traveling. So you can include a personal experience that when I went to Europe, or when I went to Gokarna, when I went to Goa. So you can include these personal experiences in that hobby as well. Because When you exactly tell your personal experience, so that comes from the heart, that you have actually felt with yourself. So when you tell about what you have felt with your heart, you tell that beautifully, you tell that perfectly, you tell that with emotions, with expressions. And when you tell your hobby with your expressions, there is nothing like that, there is nothing like it. So 4 things that you have to first ask: that what is your hobby, when did it become your hobby, which exactly is your hobby as a sub-hobby, and the last is that why is that your hobby. So you have to ask these questions first, and then you have to draft the answer, and then you have to give the answer to the examiner when the examiner asks you that what exactly is your hobby. And if you are still facing issues writing your hobby, you write about your hobby and you post it in my comments, and I will personally check for your hobbies there, and I will tell you that where it needs correction, where it needs a little elaboration, where it needs something better words, some better vocabulary in there while you are describing your hobby. So you can do that as well. So this is exactly with the hobby. When the examiner asks for your hobbies, you can use this trick to explain, to tell exactly what is your hobby, and this is the perfect way to do that as well. So I hope that you have liked my video as well. If you like this video, press the like button. You subscribe to my channel as well. You see more of my videos as well. I keep creating the videos every week, and I love that you are watching my videos, and I love that you are loving my way to teach. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.